Hi, my name is Doug McGinley, and this is my wife Shannon. And we just returned from a great trip to Poland with some of our children, and wanted to just share a little bit of our experience on that pilgrimage. We've done several pilgrimages with Steve and Janet before, but this one we were not traveling with them, but covering many of the locations that they're going to be traveling to in August. And just wanted to share our experience in Poland. We found it to be just a wonderful trip and feeling very safe. In talking to some of the locals, they said that they've gotten feedback that some Americans have been a little hesitant to travel to Poland. And I would stress that we felt no hesitancy once we were over there. We felt very safe. I know that we have this conflict going on in the Ukraine right now. There's no evidence that anything is going on when you're in Poland. Even though they had several refugees that had come into the country, they've been well assimilated, those that have stayed there. And if you weren't watching the news, there's absolutely no evidence that there's any conflict, anything, or anywhere in that region. So from a safety standpoint, we would say that we had no reasons to be concerned and felt completely safe our entire time over there. Our tour guides, Olga and Jacek, were very knowledgeable of our Catholic faith and the Polish history and culture. They were great communicators and took great care to make sure that we enjoyed our time in their wonderful country. We learned so much from them, again, about our Catholic faith, but also just integrating the Polish history and how much our faith, the Catholic faith, helped the Polish people through various challenging times in their past. But it was a great overall learning experience.
Yes, I would agree with that. Before we went, we were talking to some friends of ours who we had met actually in the Holy Land on a pilgrimage with Steve Ray, and they were saying that their favorite city in Europe was Krakow. And I thought, really? They've been to so many different places in Europe, and to say that I thought was pretty phenomenal. But now, after having spent time there, I could understand why they say that, especially coming from a Catholic perspective. As Doug was saying, we've been on several pilgrimages with Steve, and I would say that this pilgrimage to Poland would probably be second only to the Holy Land. I feel like it had such an incredible impact on me personally, as well as our family, and I really don't feel like you can understand Pope John Paul II's papacy without understanding Polish history and everything that he and his fellow Polish people went through during World War II and subsequently under Soviet occupation. It was just incredible to understand him more, and I felt like that he was a friend before I went, but after being with him for a week and seeing all of these places where he lived and where he studied and where he worshiped and where he served really helped me to understand even more where he was coming from. I feel very inspired by what I learned over there, being involved in the pro-life, pro-family movement, and understanding that what they went through with their commitment to their faith and overcoming oppression and essentially overcoming Soviet rule without ever firing a shot through prayer and peace was just incredibly inspiring to me.
Yeah, it really was. You really do come away feeling like you've gotten to know St. John Paul II so much better, and to be in the actual places where he was early in his life, into his time as bishop there in Krakow, and even seeing the places where he came back as pope, and just understanding the transformation that Poland went through and Europe went through, as well as just the opportunity to see where Maximilian Kolbe started up his publishing company or publishing efforts, where he was arrested by the Germans, having a trip to Auschwitz, which is very sobering, but seeing the cell where St. Maximilian Kolbe spent his final few days on earth, and then also the opportunity to see where St. Faustina was as well. There's just so much rich Catholic cultural or Catholic history to take advantage of. And then there are other enjoyable aspects, the salt mines, to go into this very unique salt mines that are a couple hundred feet below ground that the Polish people have been mining for 700 years, to take a trip to Zakopane and see where the Pope liked to go skiing, and see the beautiful white snow-covered mountains there. There's just no shortage of great, wonderful times there and learning opportunities and opportunities to richen your faith. So we wholeheartedly endorse anybody contemplating a trip to Poland, especially with Steve and Janet.
It was great. You'll leave there wanting more. It's like somebody took your meal before you were finished eating. You just want more and more of it. So we hope to return someday too.
And speaking of meals, the food was wonderful.
Delicious.